actually don't mind the jump cut at all. I use them constantly in my own editing. However, peppering every single syllable with one will absolutely drive your audience away. When used correctly, the jump cut is genuinely one of the fastest ways to keep your energy high. It also keeps your overall pacing incredibly tight and engaging for the viewer. What is up, everyone? It's your buddy BMAC. Well, kind of, so bear with me on my voice today. I'm still fighting something off, but you know the hustle never stops, so let's dive into the new daily video. Today I want to tackle something I get asked about in my comments section almost every single day. Specifically, we're talking about how to make those jump cuts feel totally polished instead of completely jarring. I'm going to walk you through my slow manual process inside a traditional editor first. That way, you understand exactly what is physically happening frame by frame in the cutting process. Then I'll show you a much smarter, scalable workflow leveraging a tool called Vizard to maintain that human vibe. Consider this video a combined effort, part tutorial and part essential workflow hack for creators. So let's start with the basics. Why do jump cuts even exist in the first place? The answer is actually very simple. Our collective attention spans are completely garbage right now. If your video stalls for even a second, the average person is already scrolling past to the next thing. Jump cuts are the solution because they let you instantly excise all the unnecessary filler words. We can cut out all the ums, the awkward pauses, and those moments where I forget what I was supposed to say next. But here's the reality. There's a super thin line separating snappy editing from just being sloppy. Some viewers absolutely love this technique and will tell you so in the comments. Conversely, others will despise it and will absolutely roast you for that in the feedback section. My personal philosophy is to use them purely to maintain excitement, but never, ever abuse the technique. You still need to leave room for your audience to breathe between major points. They are perfect for emphasizing your strongest punchlines, so make sure you utilize them for that. And most importantly, smooth out the transitions so they always sound completely intentional. All right, let's get into the manual method, which is the classic workflow you learn in Premiere Pro. I won't lie to you, Premiere is an absolute beast of a program, but editing long takes the old way is brutally time-consuming. Here is exactly what I do when I am forced to edit without outsourcing or using any fancy AI assistance. Step 1 involves bringing the raw one-take footage directly onto your editing timeline. Then I zoom in very closely and literally scrub with the mouse wheel until I find the exact starting frame of my speech. Once I find that first speaking frame, I enable the snap feature and make my first cut with the blade tool. Next, I scrub forward again until I hit the precise frame where my sentence or thought fully concludes. I make the second cut there, and boom, you now have a single usable dialogue clip isolated from the take. You must repeat this entire tedious process for every single usable chunk within that entire raw take. This method is incredibly time-consuming, but it grants you the absolute maximum level of editorial control. Step 2 is lining all those isolated clips back-to-back on the primary track in sequence. You can either manually drag them to snap perfectly to the previous clip's end point, or you can simply delete the resulting gap in the timeline between those two edited pieces. When you play that back now, it instantly feels much tighter than the raw, unedited recording ever did. However, it can still sound a little rough because that tiny micro pause is still present between the cuts. That small hesitation makes it sound like you are aggressively jumping from thought to thought, not flowing naturally. This brings us to step 3, which is the absolute secret sauce I swear by, the legendary L-cut. For this trick, you need to zoom in tightly again and move the audio component of the second clip onto a different audio track. You then want to slightly overlap that second audio track so the tail end of the first clip's sound bleeds over. Crucially, do not drag the video clip itself over the previous one, as that will delete part of the first clip's audio. What you are aiming for is that intentional overlap, creating a fraction of a second of crosstalk between the two dialogue segments. When you look at the timeline, this specific maneuver creates a clear, visible L shape for that edit point. If you apply this L-cut technique consistently across all your cuts, the jump suddenly feels like rhythm. It completely transforms from feeling like a sudden jolt into a deliberate, stylized choice. You might need some small frame tweaks or slight nudges to the edges, but once you get it right, you are totally golden. For step 4, alternate applying those L-cuts across your two primary audio tracks to keep things organized. This ensures the outgoing audio from the previous clip is always gently smoothing into the incoming audio of the next one. This simple little trick really ages well because the entire video just sounds cleaner and much more professional overall. Now, while this manual path is fantastic for achieving surgical control over every single moment, it absolutely devours your time when you are editing lengthy takes repeatedly. If you are producing daily content, or managing multiple channels, you critically need a workflow that is both faster and much smarter. This is precisely the point where smart automated tools like Vizard become an absolute game changer for your process. Let's take a quick reality check on some of the other editing options available on the market today. Adobe Premiere gives you that amazing granular control we just discussed, but it is notoriously slow for volume work. Plus, if you are working constantly, that monthly subscription cost for high volume adds up fast. Tools like Descript are incredible for transcription and quickly repurposing audio. I'll give them that credit. However, the fully automated cutting feature can sometimes sound stiff, almost robotic in its execution. You often end up having to rework that pacing manually anyway, defeating some of the initial time save. Capwing and Clipchamp are perfectly decent choices for simpler, more straightforward editing tasks, that's true. But they don't solve that much bigger underlying problem of identifying the best moments in a long video. And they certainly don't help you consistently schedule that fresh content across all your different platforms. Many tools focus on just one single aspect and execute it okay, but they don't solve the holistic puzzle. Either they cost an absolute fortune in subscription fees, or they force you to handle all the tedious mechanics manually. Vizard, on the other hand, is specifically engineered to handle massive content volume while still preserving that high-quality polish. Think of it like having an expert assistant who automatically highlights the best segments for you. This assistant also automatically polishes those tiny audio transitions we talked about and hands you clips ready for posting. When I focus on scaling my content output across multiple channels, three things are non-negotiable for me. First, I need the ability to auto-edit to discover those genuinely viral and engaging clips. Second, I demand reliable scheduling features so I'm not chained to my desk babysitting every single upload. And third, I require one single unified dashboard to manage absolutely everything end to end. Vizard successfully nails all three of those crucial requirements, which is why I use it heavily. Here is exactly how I integrate Vizard into my daily editing structure and why it never feels like I'm outsourcing my actual voice. The first major part is using the auto-edit function specifically to isolate potential viral moments. You simply drop your entire long video file into the system without any prior trimming. Vizard then intelligently analyzes audio peaks, key visual cues, and simulated engagement signals. It then automatically surfaces between 10 and 20 strong candidate clips that are worth your attention. This means I'm not scrubbing aimlessly for 20 minutes trying to locate the obvious prime content gems. Crucially, it is not magic that replaces your personal creative taste or judgment on content. It simply ensures that you never accidentally overlook those low-hanging fruit moments that resonate most strongly. You always retain the ability to manually pick a different clip or make micro tweaks to the AI suggestions. The second key area is smart transitions and overall audio continuity during the automated cutting phase. Instead of producing edits that sound like a stiff robotic splice, Vizard's suggestions already account for the L-cut principle. The AI proposes cuts that already incorporate slight audio overlap, mimicking that professional sound we built manually. It can then apply a layer of overall smoothing to the resulting jump cut, making it sound genuinely natural. Accepting these suggestions saves me literal hours I used to spend aligning complex audio tracks frame by frame. And it saves me from having to make those incredibly tedious micro trims across dozens of individual clips. The third feature I rely on heavily is the ability to completely auto-schedule my content delivery cadence. You simply define how frequently you want new content to go live across your channels. The system then intelligently queues up those finalized clips according to the publishing rhythm you established. That feature alone is massive when you need consistent posting without being permanently chained to your editing rig. It's not just some random posting button. You control the cadence, and the system handles the intelligent distribution. Finally, the content calendar is my single source of truth for all published and pending work across the board. Drafted clips, scheduled posts, and edits awaiting your final approval are all viewable on that one cohesive screen. This means when you sit down to plan an entire week, you can easily reorganize and repurpose everything from that same place. You avoid the massive headache of constantly hopping between 3 or 4 different applications to manage things. I need to be perfectly clear. Vizard isn't designed to replace human editors or take away your final creative call. Its entire purpose is to completely strip away the mind-numbing grunt work from your daily tasks. It handles the initial rough slicing, the tedious scrap hunting, and all the complex scheduling logistics for you. This frees you up to concentrate your mental energy entirely on your message and the quality of your on-camera performance. You are still the one who ultimately makes all the critical decisions regarding tone and subtle nuance in the final cut. Here is a practical tip from my own actual production schedule for you to consider implementing. For highly specialized video content, like a complex comedy bit or a serious interview with specific beats, I still do the first pass manually. However, for the bulk of my long-form content, such as podcasts or lectures, I run it through Vizard first to start. The AI immediately surfaces the top 10 or 15 most engaging moments, saving me an hour of initial work. I then just skim through those auto-generated clips to finalize the edit and approve the final output. That specific hybrid approach saves me an insane amount of total time while ensuring my quality bar remains high. One final piece of advice specifically on the overuse of jump cuts in short-form vertical video content. When you are constantly creating microclips, you must think about visual variety beyond just the edit point. Mix in actual reaction trims, quick visual cutaways to supporting graphics, or dynamic text overlays. Jump cuts are brilliant for controlling the pure speed and flow of information being delivered, but too many of them in immediate succession can make the whole piece feel disjointed and slightly confusing to the viewer. Use those L cuts we covered to soften the harshness and consciously alternate your visual language to keep things fresh. All right, here is the ultimate takeaway for this entire discussion we just had today. Jump cuts are absolutely not the enemy of good video production. They are a powerful ally when managed well. With a few well-placed L cuts and some sensible trimming discipline, you keep your energy high and your final video polished. If you have the luxury of time and crave total granular creative control, Premiere's timeline work is still unmatched. But if your goal is to rapidly scale up your output and find the best moments without losing your creative voice, Vizard makes the grind far less painful. You end up getting the absolute best of both worlds, incredible speed paired with an authentic-sounding final edit. If you want a deeper dive into editing techniques or a specific walkthrough combining my manual edits with the AI clips, please drop a comment below. And hey, please don't be afraid to use the jump cut in your next project. Just make absolutely certain you are using it wisely. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next tips. I drop new editing and filmmaking content consistently. For now, I'm signing off. Peace out, and go make something that people genuinely want to sit down and watch.